Welcome to Girls Gone Hallmark, where we review Hallmark movies, series, and more. I'm Megan, and I'm a longtime Hallmark fan, and apparently a new Count of Monte Cristo fan.
I'm Wendy. I'm a former Hallmark hater, and I think we need to explain some things.
Let's tell the people what's happening.
Okay.
So if you're a Girls Gone Hallmark completionist, you know how we got here, but we don't assume that you are. So yes, this is a Hallmark review podcast. That's the bread and butter of what we do. If you like Hallmark, check those out. But we've been branching out a little bit, trying to dip our toe into some other streaming worlds. And we are reviewing for the first time a PBS series. And it came about in kind of like an if you give a mouse a cookie kind of way.
Yeah.
In February, there was a movie called Return to You.
The Way to You.
Thank you.
A Hallmark movie called The Way to You.
And in it, the characters read the book, The Count of Monte Cristo, and raved about it. And we were like, do we need to read that book? Mm-hmm. And a lovely listener wrote in and was like, not only should you read the book, but serendipitously, the series is dropping next month.
Right.
On PBS. You should review it. I was a little nervous.
At the suggestion or actually setting out when you fired up PBS
Not
to
nervous
watch
at
it?
the suggestion. Love it. I love when somebody thinks, I'd like my favorite podcasters to review this series.
Yeah.
I was nervous for you.
Because I'm a general hater of all things.
Well, a period piece, not so much your vibe. Like, based on a classic novel, like, it doesn't feel like your typical vibe. Mm-hmm. But I think you'll find out that we've been pleasantly surprised. So let me tell you a little bit about, if you aren't aware, how to watch this show.
Yeah.
This is a PBS Masterpiece series. It has aired in Europe as well as the UK already. It is airing on Sundays, beginning this past Sunday, March 22nd, on PBS Masterpiece, your local PBS affiliate. You can also watch it on pbs.org or the PBS app for free for 14 days following each episode. You can also get the PBS Passport app and binge all 8 episodes right now. They are all currently available.
Right.
So there's a lot of different ways. Many of them are completely free to watch this series, so you do not need to subscribe to an additional streamer. But if you do subscribe to the PBS Passport app, you are supporting PBS, which is badly in need of funding always. So something to consider.
Right.
As for us, you can find us, more about us, at our website, girlsgonehallmark.com. That's where you'll find complete episode show notes for all of our episodes, as well as detailed rundowns about this show and shows coming to Hallmark, full lineups. There's a ton of great information over there.
Yeah, we would also encourage you to write into us via email, hello@girlsgonehallmark.com. If you're watching this and want to talk to somebody about it, talk to us. We would love to read your emails. You can also call our voicemail.
949-329-8090. Again, if you email or call us, you may hear your voicemail or your email read in a future listener mailbag episode where we talk about listener feedback we've received.
Can I talk to you just real quick before we jump in about listener feedback?
Oh, yeah.
I did see a DM or an email from somebody who had already started watching the show.
Yes.
And they said, like, they might have fallen asleep while watching it or were having a hard time getting through it. And this is before I fired up on my own TV.
And you got real nervous.
I got real nervous.
Yes.
Real nervous. I want to say, if you have any hesitation, don't. Mm-hmm. If you're watching episode 1, you're like, this is kind of slow, stick with it. By episode 2, we are off and running. I have watched the first 4 episodes already. By episode 2, the end of episode 2, we are off and running.
Episode 2, I'm coming downstairs to my family. I'm like, this show is so good.
Yeah. Yeah. So
yes, I was nervous when I saw that. I thought, oh, what have we gotten ourselves into? And then I loved it. Even episode 1, I really enjoyed.
Me too.
And then episode 2 is fantastic.
Yes.
So today we are here discussing episode 1 of the Count of Monte Cristo miniseries titled The Letter. Do you have a synopsis of this episode, Wendy?
Yes. After returning from sea, a 19-year-old sailor is falsely imprisoned for treason in the island fortress Château d'If near Marseille without trial.
We are going to run down some news and notes about this episode, the cast and crew, starting with our director, Billy August. He did direct all 8 episodes of this miniseries. Billy is a Danish screenwriter, cinematographer, and director. He has 34 previous directing credits. He directed the 1998 movie version of Les Mis and is currently in pre-production on the movie Julius Caesar.
The man likes a period piece.
Evidently.
The series is based on the novel by Alexandre Dumas.
Greg Latter and Sandra Petralia wrote all 8 episodes of the miniseries. Greg has written on a number of projects that were directed by Billy August, including Goodbye Befana and the upcoming Julius Caesar, as well as Me, You. Sandro is an Italian writer with a long resume of Italian screenplay credits.
Sam Claflin plays Edmond Dantès. Sam is currently filming Ebenezer, A Christmas Carol. What? You know I love a rendition of A Christmas Carol. His 37 acting credits include his role as Billy Dunn in the television adaptation of Daisy Jones and the Six.
Michael Bo Folsgaard plays Gerard Villefort. Michael is a Danish actor with, quite frankly, a long list of Danish acting credits, including the original Department Q, the adaptation of the novel The Keeper of Lost Causes.
Anna Garrido plays Mercedes. Anna is a French actress with 54 acting credits. She is currently filming Raleigh 82, where she plays car racing legend Michelle Mouton.
Blake Ritson plays Danglars. Among Blake's 86 acting credits are his roles in The Gilded Age and The Crown. He also does a ton of voice work.
Harry Terrassi plays Fernand. Harry's additional acting credits include the movie Napoleon and the series Midsummer Murders.
Jason Barnett plays Caderousse. Jason has 50 acting credits, including 7 episodes of season 1 of Bridgerton.
Roger Sloman plays Edmund's father, Louis. Roger has 150 acting credits and will turn 90 this year. He's best known for his roles in Mr. Bean and the film Nuts and May.
Hey, let's take a quick break and we will come right back with our first impressions of episode 1. Hey, Wendy, what's your first impression of the inaugural episode of The Count of Monte Cristo?
I'm sorry, did Fernand just pull the "we're cousins, so we belong together" card? What now?
My first impression is, whoops, apparently I need to bone up on my French Revolutionary history.
Oh man, the Googling I did watching this.
Including, was Napoleon's reign during the French Revolution? Hey, let's talk what we liked about this episode.
I just want, if it's not clear, I liked it a lot.
Too.
This episode was okay.
Yeah, it's a lot of setup.
It's a ton of setup. But it's purposeful. I think that it's putting all the pieces on the board. We have Edmund's relationships and the tension with Napoleon and the jealousy from Fernand and Doglet. Also, I need to apologize in advance for the butchering of the names.
We were just talking in another episode about our French pronunciation. Not great.
I feel terrible about it now. So you can keep those emails to yourself. I am aware of it. But anyway, I think by the end of this episode, I was like, okay, I'm into it. I fully understand this man's life is unfair. And of course, like, I didn't know. I've never read the novel. I did not know the story. So I had to Google, like, give me a summary of this. And we learn that he is falsely imprisoned.
Yep.
And then when he eventually gets out, he sets forth on this revenge tour, basically.
Yes.
And so I have to wonder, will I still feel warm towards him at the end of this series after all this revenge?
That's a great question.
You know, I do think what happens to Edmund is unfair, and I do feel there is some justifiable reasons that he would want to go out and like hurt these people that ruined his life.
Yes.
So I'm excited is not quite the right word, but I'm interested to see how it unfolds.
Yeah, look, I have not read the book either. I do plan to after we finish. I think that I think the challenge with a book to movie or a book to series adaptation is if you read the book first, if you're like me, you spend the entire time going, well, wait, that was different. And I don't want to do that. And so also time-wise, it didn't, when we decided to watch this, didn't lend itself to me reading the book first. That being said, this first episode, like you said, is kind of dense in terms of the setup and the subject matter. There's a lot of history behind it. However, I found it very easy to follow and enjoy. Do you need a deep understanding of the French geopolitical landscape? You don't.
No.
Would that help? Maybe, but it doesn't take away from you understanding these people don't like each other. This guy's working against him. Here's the love story. Here's the good guys. It's very clear by the end of the episode.
Yeah.
And it's kind of shocking what a sense of these characters you have by the end of the episode.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, you know that Danglars and Fernand are bad. Like these guys are clearly bad. Danglars does such a good job of portraying a bad guy just with the looks and the way he talks. And Fernand, honestly, is kind of this like whiny, petulant, I'm not getting my way. We're supposed to be together. That's the way it's always been. What do you mean you're in love with him? I'm like, oh, you're so unlikable.
Yeah.
And then to your point, when he's like, well, we're cousins, I was like, ugh. And she was like, just because it's the way it's always been. They do such a nice job with those characters. The overall setup in terms of what these characters' motivations are is incredibly well done in a under 50-minute episode.
Yeah, I agree. I have that in my notes too about we know who the villains are from the jump, and it makes the story very easy to latch onto emotionally. We know who's been wronged, and now we're going to watch the long game unfold.
Yeah.
Kind of exciting. I want to talk about Sam Claflin.
Okay.
I'm not familiar with his work. Like, I know he's been in like the Hunger Games movies, and he was also in the Daisy and the Six, which I watched him in.
Me Before You, if you're familiar with that movie.
I am not. Do I need to watch it?
It's very sad.
Oh, okay. Anyway, I texted Megan yesterday. I was like, damn, he is hot. And what she responded, even with his scraggly beard, guys.
It wasn't a question. It was a statement.
Yes.
I realized after the fact, I'm like, even with that scraggly ass beard, man.
You'll see. Episode 2, guys.
It's coming.
Episode 2. I like him. As his character, Edmond has this almost like boyish optimism about him. And he's clearly like the good guy. He gets the promotion because he gets, the captain role because he's someone who is trustworthy and responsible. Like, we know, like you said, like it is set up from the beginning. He's the good guy. These are the bad guys. It's very clear.
Yeah.
He is easy to root for. And I just enjoy Sam Claflin as Edmond.
He gives really good face. He does some stunning facial acting in this episode, portraying his shock and his fear throughout his arrest and imprisonment. And the facial expressions are subtle and minor, but they convey so much. It was great. Let's talk about Mercedes and Edmond.
I'm sorry, they're in my wishes.
Oh, interesting.
But go ahead, tell me.
Well, I will talk about them because I actually thought they were adorable together. Mm-hmm. And they're selling me on their love. And as I have said, I have not read the book. I do not know the arc of the story. I don't think things are looking good for them. But their dancing, I thought, they give me like, oh, we're so in love and want, when he returns home and their reunion and their engagement lunch, I just thought, oh my goodness, I love them. And now things are not going to end well. But I liked her in episode 1.
Do you think, is this at the heart, is this a love story or is this about a story of a man who's been wronged?
I think it's centers more on Edmond's overall story than about his romance.
Got it.
But we'll see.
I hope that it's that way because, we watch a lot of Hallmark.
Yeah, we don't, I don't really want the romance to be at the heart of it. I'm okay if the romance is a piece.
Yes.
So tell me your wishes.
No, I have one more light.
Okay.
The cinematography is stunning in this.
Thank you.
I had to look it up to see where it was filmed. Mostly Italy and Malta. Just so pretty. Like the end scene when they pull back and Mercedes is looking from the coastline and she's looking at the prison and he's like looking at, you think like he's looking out the window and he can see her standing there, which I don't think he can, but whatever.
Right.
It just is visually giving something. And it, to me, feels like a real period drama. Like it feels very cinematic.
Yeah, for sure. To me, you and I watch a lot of Hallmark. Those are budget productions. I was like, oh, no budget was spared in this. Those sweeping shots are stunning. There are some shots in episode 2 that I was like, oh my gosh. Like, I just wanted to look at the beauty of it because I just think, oh, they really went there with their shot. That You're right. That closing shot of the two of them looking from alternate angles is incredible. The sweeping landscape shots, the storm shot did not give me like we're on a green screen on a boat.
Oh my gosh. That opening scene where they're in the ocean and it's a storm. And I was like, this is how you do water scenes.
Right. If you know, you know, friends. If you know, you know. I agree. It is a stunningly beautiful production.
Yeah. Now we can talk wishes.
Okay.
And my biggest hesitation so far is Edmond and Mercedes.
Tell me more.
Mercedes is supposed to be the love of his life, right? Mm-hmm. And I just didn't quite feel that spark between them.
Interesting.
They kiss, they dance, they talk about their future. It feels more scripted than organic to me.
Oh, no. Got it.
That is to me. And then when he is taken away, with exception of that last final shot where she's staring out at the prison, I just felt I wanted her to be more devastated. Like this was life altering. And she's just so stoic, which could just be of the time. You know, I'm expecting like hysterics. And there weren't any. And like I said, maybe it's just culture or time or whatever. That's where I land.
Okay.
My only other little wish is kind of a complaint, and it goes back to that stormy ocean scene at the beginning. It's very dark. As the viewer watching it, I was like, it is so dark. But also, they're in the middle of the ocean at night. Like, there's not like a spotlight, you know? So that's just my petty complaint.
You know, I have some complaints like that too. So I thought it was dark. I watched this on my computer because I watched the screener version of this. And that's important because there are no captions on a screener.
Oh.
I watch most shows with captions, and this show needs captions. I had to pause and look up names so I could figure out who they were talking to and what they were saying. It's very hard. And in some scenes, like in that boat scene, I was like, I can't hear them, but I don't think it matters what they're saying. Just like things are not going well when they're on the bow of that boat and they're being thrashed about. It was very dark. This is a discussion all the time on social media. People are like, why is TV so dark and so hard to hear? And everyone's like, it's your TV settings. That may be so, but let's figure out how to do this.
Yeah.
Because I can't hear and I can't see. And let me tell you, when they were sweeping up on that prison at night, I was turning up the brightness on my computer.
I can tell you, like, I watched it on my TV, and at some point there is a instinct in me to like tap, tap, tap.
Yep.
And I was like, I don't think that exists on the TV. It might, but it would take me an hour to find it on the remote control. So
the only other thing I'll say, and this isn't really a wish, but there are a lot of characters in this series, and we'll meet a lot of them right up top in episode 1. And because I was reviewing this, I was taking notes. I almost feel like that might not be a terrible idea for someone watching this to at least remember who's who.
a little list.
A little list. I don't need it, but I just was like, whoa, who's this Villefort dude? And all of a sudden we're meeting him with his fiance and her family. Like, what's he doing here? And who are they related to? So there are a lot of people.
I do have one more little wish.
Please.
The original novel was written in French. It's obviously been adapted for all the other languages that it has been reprinted in. I really had to think this through. I was like, why aren't they giving me any French at all? Like I expected like like Emily in Paris. The Netflix show Emily in Paris takes place in Paris. And there's a lot of like French and English. And I enjoy it. But then I was like, why am I not getting any of that? And so I Googled like a dummy that I am. And it was like, because this is an English version of what they would be speaking in French to each other. So they're not going to speak like a mixture of English and French to each other.
I hear that. I get that. I think that's the base explanation. But also like Emily in Paris, I guess they do speak English to her. I don't know. Like, would they speak as much English in that French ad agency as they do?
Probably not.
I think your point is a good one. Like, it might center it in its place a little more if we heard just even a few casual comments in French.
Yes. This is where we're going to depart a little bit from our typical Hallmark format.
Yeah.
Usually when we review Hallmark movies, if you're a regular listener, we do a segment called Did You See That? Where we like pick up, like continuity issues or just like simple things.
What the heck was that?
Yeah. This is a higher budget production. Higher budget productions usually lack those things. So just for today, I just have some questions for you.
Yeah.
Are you immediately on Edmond's side, or do you feel like we don't know enough about him yet?
Well, I'm very easily influenced, and so I am immediately on his side. I am willing to accept I may learn some things about him, but what I see from him in this first episode speaks to goodness and truth. And when he's arrested, he answers all of the questions very honestly about what he was doing with the letter and hands it over. And he just seems to be coming from a genuinely good place.
I agree. My worry is similar to the character Dexter, who's like a good guy, but he does like this murdering. I mean, I don't know if Edmond's going to murder anybody in the future. I would love it if people are like screaming
Dude,
at the
Dunglairs
podcast.
can pound sand as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, no.
I don't really want him to murder anybody, but I'm okay with him making they ruined his life.
Yeah.
So I am okay with the epic revenge that is to come on a certain level.
Yeah, I don't think I live my life with revenge, but there is part of me that like I like the idea of karma coming for you.
Yeah, and also I don't live with my life with revenge either, but I also think this is a literary version of real life. Like people aren't necessarily out to send me off to a jail to die and live in a dungeon for the rest of my life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like we're living at extremes in this book.
Yeah, agree. If you had to rank the villains purely on pettiness right now, who wins?
Oh, I think Fernand is the most petty. He's giving like, I didn't get the girl, but he's real tied with Danglars for his like, I didn't get the job, right?
Yeah.
And then we have Villefort, and I feel like his motivation is a little deeper. Mm-hmm. He's worried about his own personal ruin. He's worried about the implication of the ties to his father and what that will say about him and his competence in his job. And so, while again, I think all of them are behaving in their own personal best interests alone, I think perhaps he has the most actual motivation to be behaving this way.
Now, you and I had to talk off mic about season 1, episode 1. I had some questions about Villefort. Do you think that context is missing? Did I miss it in episode 1 of what Villefort's motivations were?
I think it's mostly to be assumed, right? We meet Villefort's father. That's who the letter was going to. And in that discussion, it's kind of like exposition, like you were conspiring with Napoleon, and his father's like, you're a fool, right? I think there's some inference to be made that the reason that Villefort sent him away was this letter would implicate his father, and therefore it would blow back on him. I don't think it's explicitly said, but I think there's enough there to make the leap as to his motivation.
Yeah, see, not for me. That's why like you and I had to discuss it so I could get some clarity. Mm-hmm. in terms of Villafort's motivation. Here's my last question. How the heck does this book relate to that, back to that Hallmark movie, The Way to You? I cannot remember.
I think only in that he was reading it. And then he was like, it's great. You should read it. And she's like, I read it. I loved it. Which, by the way, the book's like 1,200 pages long. So whatever her turnaround time was for reading it, that should be a did you see that moment? Because I think in the movie, it's like over the course of a week and girlfriend was busy. So
yeah, I just was wondering if there was this like overarching moment of like, oh, this is why we liked the book, because there was Edmond has patience, right? Because he's playing the long game here. Now, did those two characters...
that's a real deep cut. I think it's just like a, oh, you're reading something on the subway. What are you reading, right? Like it's how you start the conversation.
Yeah.
That's a great question.
And that was my last one. That's all I got.
Hey, well, that's a wrap on our first episode review of The Count of Monte Cristo. We will be reviewing every episode weekly on Thursdays. So we hope you'll come back and listen, subscribe to Girls Gone Hallmark, wherever you get podcasts so you don't miss an episode. And we'll be back next time with more Hallmark and PBS reviews. Goodbye.
Bye.
All right, friends, before we go, just a quick heads up. You're about to hear some ads. These little gems help us keep the show running and the Hallmark love flowing. So do with that info what you will. Grab a snack, hit the skip button, or maybe, just maybe, listen in and discover your new favorite product. Bye.